I sit on the Together social care group because our whole political system is rotten. And if you want to change anything in Westminster, you've got to buy it. You've got to have money and you've got to pay for it. And you've got to set up an APPG and give MPs money. And you've got to take money from ethical sources to get an agenda through. We don't want to do that. We want a different kind of politics. We want politicians that actually serve the public. I know this is going to sound crazy to the people we had in power for the last few decades, but we actually think that we, the people, should be heard, that our voices should be heard, and that, our MPs should be representing us, and our governments should be representing us. And Westminster is just a sewer of crony capitalism, people buying what they want, pushing through bad laws, shut sewage in the rivers, wipe people out with, phone bills and the cost of energy and all of the rest of it. And I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And I think that's the reason I sit on the Together social care group, is because where else do you go? You can't go to Westminster. So we need to change it from top to bottom. And we, the people, need to do it, because our politicians are only serving themselves. And that's quite clear. And to be quite honest, it was an ordeal to sit through 2 hours of non-stop Boris Johnson, because it's enough to give anybody nausea. But we did it, and we're not looking for a medal. God Almighty, we could do with it, a glass of wine after listening to him. The incompetence, the complacency, and the thing about letting it rip, when they were talking about letting it rip, they let it rip in care homes from March 2020. They chose that policy to put people from hospital into care homes because those lives didn't matter. And that should never, ever be forgotten. And we all should be angry at that, because what Boris Johnson did was to say, if you are an average age of 82, you've had a good innings, you got to be put to death now. And because that's what we're defending, if we defend what that government did, is we're defending putting people to death at a certain age based on the digits on their birth certificate. And we are so angry that, it's been forgotten. And the inquiry needs to start looking at the care issues much sooner than 2025, because those lives matter. And they matter most because those are the people with the least voice, and they are not being heard, and that needs to change. So we're sending this video to the inquiry, and we're going to keep fighting for people to be heard and for care to be at the top of the agenda, and what they did to be at the top of the agenda, because it was criminal what they did. And whistleblowers, we will make sure your voices are heard, and we will not stop until, people are held to account for what they've done.